Hi everyone. As a default in G Suite, all of our files and documents are set as private and only viewable to ourselves. So we always need to go an extra step to enable link sharing if we want to share it with somebody, so that people can either view, edit, or make a copy of our documents. So what I've done here is I've taken this wonderful HyperDoc made by Debbie Hayward in grade 4. This is Google Slides she's used to put a whole bunch of links to take her students to other resources or other documents or files that she's set up to engage with the learning process. So just a first heads up is on the second slide, she's included 2 YouTube videos. Now, one thing that a lot of us have forgotten to do is we put these in, or we add a link to Google Classroom, but then we forget to go and approve the video on YouTube through our Oak Hill channel. You need to hit that approve button. The second thing is what we sometimes do is we send our students' eyeballs via a link in a document like this to another document that we've created. So I'm just looking here, I think on slide 4, she's got a couple of links. Okay, so let's pretend that this solid, liquid, and gas link, I know she's linked this to a website, but let's pretend that she had actually linked it to this science document over here, a Google Doc that she set up. Ordinarily, the sharing permissions are set up as off, as I started off with. What we need to always do is we need to go up to the share button in the top right. Once we click share, this dialog box opens, and we need to change the permissions to any one of these 3 options. So ordinarily, it's normally anyone at Oak Hill School with a link can view. If you'd like them to edit that one file, not make a copy for each student, but that one file, then you would allow them to edit it. So you would copy that link. All right, the link is copied, it's been remembered, and then she normally would go across over here and she would actually link it to those words by using the Control K feature, put that link behind those words. Now when her students click on that link, it'll go to that document and they don't need to ask permission to view that document. So other things we can add in here and people are adding in are things like audio recordings, which are being saved via a third-party app into their Google Drive. Everything goes through Google Drive. Google Classroom is actually Google Drive management. It manages the sharing settings for us, so we don't have to do what we're doing in this HyperDoc. So when we post an assignment, we say anybody with a link can view, or we say they can edit this document, or we ask it to make a copy for each student when we create an assignment. So if you're doing something like this, a HyperDoc where you're sending people out to other documents, you need to make sure that you set up those link sharing settings correctly. So another thing I want to touch on is something like those audio notes or screencaster files or meet recordings that you're doing. They all end up in your Google Drive, which is why we allow those applications to access our Google Drive, because they manage our Google Drive for us. They set up these folders and they populate these folders with all of our videos. Now, I've got a whole bunch of meet recordings here that I've made, but it's a headache each time to change. It's a headache each time to change those sharing permissions on each one of these files. Okay, over here I can see I've allowed some sharing settings over here. I've allowed people to do it. So what you can do is once I've opened the folder, I can go to Meet Recordings now with a little drop down, and I can go Get Shareable Link. Okay, and this is going to apply to every single one of those Meet Recordings. And I'm going to turn link sharing on. And you'll notice now that next to each file, as I've done that, next to each file is going to be this people icon or sign over there once that's updated. So now that that folder's had a chance to update, every single one of the files in that folder is now viewable to anybody with the link at Oak Hill. So when I add this via Google Classroom, I add it from my drive, I'll know that the students will be able to access it because I've changed the link settings on the file. In Screencaster file, when we do a screencast and we want to share that video, there's that option for us to enable a shareable link. So it's doing it automatically, and then we can post those screencasts to our classroom. So this is just some important thinking around link sharing. I hope that it helps. You've got to always be mindful that you are allowing students, whatever you're sending your students' eyeballs to, you've got to think through those privacy settings. Have I enabled the link? Is this shareable to people within Oak Hill? You won't often have to allow people outside Oak Hill unless you're sending a document or sharing a document that you would like to share the link with parents, and then you enable it to be viewable outside Oak Hill.